Now today I'm going to talk to you about how to choose the best software for you and your budget. Now, one thing I love software. It enables you to do things more effectively and more efficiently than if you had to do it manually. Now, where I come from, when I started going to school for accounting, I had to do all of the ledgers and entries into the bank accounts and all of that kind of stuff. We had to do it manually. We had a big packet of paper in order to balance the books. That was a nightmare if you had to find a penny, a nickel. The larger dollar amounts were not so bad, but when you had to find a penny or a nickel amongst all the lectures, that was a nightmare. Now, thankfully, because software has evolved so much, I can choose a software such as QuickBooks and get the books done quickly. Another example is when I first started with the federal government, I started as a secretary. Now, let me show you guys the typewriter that I had to use. This is my first typewriter. It was fantastic. I thought it was the best thing since sliced bread because the typewriter that I learned to use on, learned how to type on, was a manual typewriter, one that I had at home. But when I went to the federal government, I had this fantastic electric typewriter, and it had memory, so I could type it all in and push a button and it would print out the document for me, all formatted and everything. And with the government, you had to do like carbon copies. So depending on how far up the chain you wanted your letter to go, you had to do that many carbon copies. And it made it so much simpler. I thought I was in heaven at that time. But then I went and looked at the other secretaries, and this is the typewriter that they had. They had one with a screen on it where you can actually see everything. And that was what I aspired to. But of course, shortly after that, I got over it because then we got personal computers, and I still had my first typewriter just to do those carbon copies. So that was wonderful. The first thing I want you guys to know is to, when you're choosing software for you, know the task that you want to accomplish. What is it? Is it making sure that all your documents are in one place, like note-taking? Or is it making sure that you could have an efficient way to check your email, or adding things to your calendar? Then know the manual steps you want to complete that you need to do to complete the task. Write those steps down so that when you're looking at software, you will be able to look at all the features to see if they include the features that you need. Then do your research. There's many ways to do your research. You can ask people that you know, what software are they using? Do they like it? What features is it that they really like about it? One of my best ones is ask Google. Google knows everything, and Google can find it for you. One of the sample searches that I've done is the best software for taking notes. That is the actual, what I actually typed into Google in order to get some examples. So now this is the results of my search. So of course you see Evernote on the top left, and then there are other programs, notes, Google Keep, which I've never heard of, Simple Note, Zoho Office. Microsoft Outlook does have a feature for notes, but as you can see, there are several areas where you can find the exact app that you need. Then, once you do your search, make a list of the softwares that you find that you want to do more research on. It doesn't have to be a big list. You can make a list of your top 3, top 4, something like that. Then go to each of the software websites and review their features. You've already got a wish list of things that you really would like to have in a software app. So review the features of each of the softwares to find out if they include the features that you're looking for. Make sure you annotate in the ones that are deal breakers. Those are the ones that you have to have in an app in order to use it. Then review the documentation. If you get stuck or need to know something, they need to have some documentation that is going to make it easy for you to use their software. Unfortunately, a lot of software developers won't have very good instructions. They'll have some, but they don't necessarily come through with instructions that are really comprehensive for every user. A lot of the documentation, unfortunately, will be ones that make sense to them, but not necessarily to the end user like you and me. Then do another search so that you can read the reviews on independent websites. All the software websites will have reviews on them, but when you're looking at the software developers website and reading those reviews, they get to pick and choose which reviews they show on their websites. So what you want to do is to go out and do another search, like the one I've done here that says reviews for Evernote. So now I can go to PCMag.com or ComputerWorld.com, FinancesOnline.com, to find out what do they think of the software. Each one of these websites have reviews for Evernote. And then there's one down here, Evernote Reviews 2018. Now at G2Crowd.com. Now some of those will be from people that are actually users that have expressed what they think about the software. So those are the things that you want to be able to get out there and look at and see how real users are rating the software. It doesn't have to be all 5 stars. You decide how many stars that you need in order to be able to give it a go. Then go back to each one of the websites and review the pricing. And remember, free is not necessarily free. Free is going to cost you something. It is going to cost you time or features that are on your I must have this feature list. So always take note that free is not always your best option. Sometimes that's the option that we need to take at the time, but if that is the route that you need to go, make sure that that software has the additional features that you would pay for in the next level. Now, the possible options for software would be to pay for it monthly. A lot of them have yearly or quarterly fees to go along with it. They could say, okay, well, this software is going to cost $10 per month per person. That is one. Those are ones that are more for teams. But if you don't have a team, you only have to worry about that one person, you. And then some of them will have a requirement of a particular number of users per plan. And some, when that happens, is usually probably the minimum is going to be 2. It could be more, but a lot of times the number of users per plan will be 2. And in that case, you'll have to pay for 2 users, no matter how many users you actually have. If it's just you and they have a minimum of 2, then you'll be paying for 2 users. Now take a note that if the pricing listed on the website, if there is no pricing listed on the website, or it states call for a quote, it will most likely be too expensive for whatever your budget is. So that's just in my experience. I've used hundreds of software, and unfortunately I've paid for software that I didn't actually use. So make sure when you're looking for software, you are ready to use it right now, and you know exactly what you want before you start searching. Then once you have the ones that you want to try, set up an alternative email address. That way you can, because you can always change your email address later, but then you can keep your free trials and everything separate from your regular email. Then go ahead and sign up for a free trial of the ones that are on your top list that you want to try. A lot of the free trials come in different options. You can do a 7-day free trial. Some of them have a 14-day free trial. And if you're lucky, you'll get a 30-day free trial. Now, what you want to do is, once you start your free trial, take the time to set up the software as if you were going to keep it, and use it every day, every week, whatever it is, as if you were going to keep it. Make sure that if it has a place for you to upload your image of you or your company logo, go ahead and do that. If it has a place for your address, go ahead and do that, and use it as if you were going to keep it. That way you'll know whether it fits all the criteria that you need. Again, unfortunately, I've been in a position where I said, oh yeah, I need this software, and I got it, and during the trial, I didn't use it, or I only used it a little bit, or I found out that it didn't really do all the things that I thought it would do, that I needed it to do, that the website said it would do. The other day I was looking for software to schedule my meetings with my clients. Now there's a lot of software out there for scheduling meetings with clients, but this one particular software allowed me to set up group meetings. And even though a lot of the other software said that, yeah, I can do that, once I got in there with my free trial and set it up and did all of these things and started to try to use it, it didn't really do what the other software did. So, and they were free. So what I wound up doing was paying $10 a month versus free. So when I tell you that free is not always free, it can cost you those features that you really do need that are on your I must have this list. So therefore, instead of having a free software, I went back and paid the $10 a month for my software, because it did exactly what I needed it to do. Now, over the trial period, ask yourself, does it help me accomplish the task that I need? How well does it accomplish that task? And is it simple enough for me? I don't care how simple the websites and other people say a particular software is. You need to get in there and use it for yourself and answer this question. Is it simple enough for me? because everybody's level of understanding is different. And if you're going to be using it, you need to make sure it's going to be simple enough for you to keep using it. If not, you're going to stop using it, and you're still going to be paying for it. Then ask yourself, is it within my budget? If there's a software that does everything that you need for $10 a month versus one that has all the wham whams and zoos plus the things that you said are on your make it or break it list for $30 a month, take the $10 a month, because you can always upgrade later. If it's doing the minimum of the tasks that are on your I need this in order to get this software list, then that's going to be a better choice. All the wham whams and zoos in the world are not going to help you if you're not going to use them. So don't pay for anything that you're not going to use. Thank you. And I hope that this really helped you to be able to choose the software that's best for you. There are always ways for you to reach me. You can go to peppersville.com and get me there. I've got all sorts of free downloadable checklists and spreadsheets and ebooks for you to be able to further your learning. Also, if you go to peppersville.com/online learning, I have some online courses there and some at-home learning courses where they're downloadable ebooks if you're a reader like me. Then, like my Facebook page, I'm going to be making sure that all my trainings are going to be on my Facebook page. So go at Peppersville and like my Facebook page so you won't miss anything. Also, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Peppersville. And then follow me on Instagram at Peppersville. Everything is always going to be under Peppersville. But I don't want you to miss anything. But if you have any questions or anything, hit me up on one of those channels and I'll get right back to you. Thank you and have a great day. And I'll see you in the next training.